All right, ZBA, we are live. We are recording. Phone lines are opened. Go for it.
Thank you, Matt. Welcome to the Town of East Hampton Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for December 2nd, 2025. We have one canceled public hearing this evening. That's 42 OMH LLC at 42 Old Montauk Highway, Montauk, Suffolk Tax Map number 300-21-2-23. It's been canceled. We'll move on to our first hearing of the evening. First hearing is 66 Montauk Highway, LLC at 66 Old Montauk Highway. Amagansett, Suffolk Tax Map number 300-172-2-27. Size and location is 46,654 square feet at 66 Old Montauk Highway, Amagansett. The description is to allow the pool house to remain 207 square feet and the shed to remain 7 feet above the pyramid line along the northern lot line. The relief sought is a variance of from 255-1110 of the East Hampton Town Code is needed to allow the pool house to remain 207 square feet, where 200 square feet is the maximum, and 255-1172 for a pyramid variance of 7 feet to allow the shed to remain in place. The zoning district is A residence, Zone X flood zone, and secret class is type 2. Council, do we have proper affidavit of service and posting?
Yeah, I reviewed the affidavit of notice and posting, and everything seems to be in order, and the board has jurisdiction over this hearing.
Thank you. Member Mearing?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. So this is the Old Montauk Highway, not in Montauk, but in Amagansett, just to orient. It comes off of Atlantic Avenue and then runs diagonally up and then dumps back out on 27 right in front of the reserved property, just to orient. Okay, so I'm just standing in the road, looking at the entrance gates. You can see the posting is on the telephone pole to the right. Next slide. I took a closer photo of the posting and the dates seem to be in order. Next slide. Okay, the house is not in question, but I just wanted to orient people on the property. This house was renovated and expanded. It does have a lot of historic significance to it, though not designated. The structures will be to the right and the rear of this that are in question tonight. Next slide. Okay, so now I'm stepped back into the driveway. The house is to the left. I'm looking straight back. The garage is not in play, but I took the shot because you can see the pool house just to behind or to the side of it. I'll get a closer shot of it, and towards the back, you can see the little shed that is also needs relief. Next slide. Okay, so now I'm staring straight at the pool house, which is 207 square feet. It's opposed to the 200, so it needs that relief. It is close to the garage that was constructed more recently. Next slide. And then this is the shed that needs the pyramid relief. The narrative, I'm sure we'll talk about. And I guess there's been a shed pretty much in this area for quite some time. I think I only have one more slide just to show the other accessory. Yeah, this is the other rear accessory structure. I guess it's called the barn, that has also been remaining on the property. I think that's it. Good.
Thank you. How you doing, Joel?
Good evening.
Joel, you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good evening, Chairman Marine and board members. Joel Halsey on behalf of Lighthouse Line Planning, representing the owners of 66 Old Montauk Highway. The application now before the board represents what at first seems like excessive variances. However, this is more of a case of simple measurement errors regarding the pool house and simple changes to the small shed. The pool house was constructed prior to the current owner purchasing the property, and the footprint is unchanged. The pool house received a certificate of occupancy in 2017, and I did submit a copy of the survey from that CO to the record. The current owner had planned to demolish, or actually the contractor who was working for the current owner had planned to demolish the pool house and construct a new pool house in the same footprint. The reason being is that the garage that was built next to the pool house had some excavation going on, basically right up to the pool house. So they were fearful that the pool house was going to fall into, or was going to be compromised. There were no issues with the pool house at the time of construction, so it was never demolished, even though a building permit had been issued for the pool house to be demolished. The existing windows and the siding was just replaced on and the doors was just updated on the pool house. It was unknown to anyone that the pool house was 7 square feet larger than allowed. However, it hadn't been demolished, so it was still the same pool house that was on the 2017 CO. And I confirmed the footprint with David Saskis from the 2017 survey, and he did confirm that the pool house was 207 square feet on the 2017 survey. I submitted a copy of the email from the surveyor to the record, which does attest to this. There was not a mistake. This was not a mistake of the current owner. It was a simple mistake of a few inches in length on part of the contractor from the previous owner. The 7 square feet, if removed from the pool house, would be very onerous to the current property owner, and the benefit far outweighs the benefit to the applicant far outweighs the detriment, if any, that would be caused by the issuance of the variance. The situation is very unique, and had it been caught when first constructed, there may have been a cause to deny this variance. But that was a different owner. Other than the siding and windows, nothing has changed with this pool house. Regarding the 7-foot pyramid variance, the shed was always within the pyramid setback. The only change was that it was re-roofed and the pitch was brought down. Doing this raised the height of the wall on the property line side approximately 1 foot 7 inches. To that point, this would create a larger pyramid noncompliance. However, during construction, the shed was moved 1.1 foot to the south. And now this was done I wish there wasn't a better picture, sorry. And I probably should have submitted something to the record for this. There is a tree directly behind the shed that, as it grew over the years, kind of grew into the shed, and a root was growing under the shed. And at first they thought to cut the root, but they actually brought in an arborist to check it out and said, that's not a good idea. It'd be better if you just slid the shed off the root. So that's why the shed had been moved. So the only real change was the shed being moved in the roof line. For that aside, the shed remains the same. By moving it, that reduced actually the pyramid nonconformity, had the roof line not changed, but being the roof line had changed, the nonconformity is only increasing by 6 inches. The shed has never been an issue. It is a very small at only 100 square feet and poses no detriment to any nearby property owners. In fact, this is not out of character with this area of the neighborhood, where accessory structures and houses on abutting properties are situated on the property line or within close proximity to the property lines if you look at aerials within this area. The application does demonstrate compliance with the variance standards of section 255-8-50 as outlined in the memo that I have submitted to the record. Beyond that, if the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
I read the narrative and understand it's small and it's never been an issue, the shed. But since it was being moved, was there any thought to move it just to make the whole thing conforming? I know it's pre-existing.
They didn't really want to move it at all, but it was actually the movement was so they didn't have to sacrifice the tree.
Right.
So there was no thought, it was actually done. There was no thought put into it at all, actually. They just moved it at the arborist. The arborist said, hey, just move it off the root. There was no actually thought to moving it into conforming location. It was just a thought to get it off the root so they didn't have to cut the root and possibly damage the tree.
And then also, I was trying to remember the code at the time when this work was done. Is the required separation between accessory structures supposed to be 5 feet?
Yeah,
I know
at
it
the
was
time when
increased,
this was done,
but-
it was 5 feet.
Right. Is it 5 feet between the
It looks like
pool
it's probably
house
more.
and my eyes?
It looks
couldn't-
like it from scale.
It does.
What?
It does look like it from scale.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't.
Yeah, so I mean, it's at least 7.5.
Okay, it's just checking,
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely.
just in case any other relief is necessary. Thank you. Those are my questions.
Any other questions?
I have no questions. No.
Sarah? How are you, Sarah?
Good evening, Sarah Lewis for the Planning Department.
Sarah, do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. So I think Mr. Halsey has pretty much covered a lot in terms of this application, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Still there? Is the tree still there?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Give it, yes.
Yeah. According to areas.
There, previous, okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Anybody in the public like to address this application? Not, make a motion to
Yes.
close?
I will, of course.
Excuse me 1 second.
and-
Let me
Sorry?
check the phone lines.
Correct. Is there anybody online?
Speak again.
And this is Matt Chapman calling from LTV, making sure all the phone lines are open and clear, which they are. And you have 0 additional callers. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, motion, 60, in the matter of 66 Montauk Highway LLC, 66 Old Montauk Highway, Amagansett, Suffolk County Tax Map 300-172-02-27. I make a motion to close the hearing, the public hearing, and close the record.
Second. Concur.
Concur.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night, Joel.
Board members, if we get to the work session, we want to make a consideration, possibly make a decision on this evening. If, just I'll consider, we'll give you time to think about it. Thank you. Next, we have Scott Walker at 70 Cliff Road, Amagansett, tax map number 300-174-2-24. Size and location is 12,000 square feet at 70 Cliff Road, Montauk. The description is to demolish the existing approximately 1,500 square foot residence and associated structures and construct a new 2,800 square foot two-story residence with a 300 square foot garage and storage, 250 square foot of swimming pool, pool equipment, pool fencing, 425 square feet of decking, outdoor shower, gravel driveway, 256 square feet of entry porch, walkways, new sanitary systems, and associated structures within jurisdiction of duneland and beach vegetation. The relief sought is a natural resources special permit pursuant to 255-420 of the East Hampton Town Code is required for this application. Zoning district is B residence, AE flood zone, and the elevation 10, and the secret class is type 2. Council, do we have proper affidavit of service and posting?
Yep, I reviewed the affidavits, notice and posting, and everything is in order, and the board has jurisdiction over this matter.
Thank you. Member Meering?
Yes, thank you. Okay, I'm on Cliff Road, which is in the Beachampton neighborhood, otherwise known as the Dunes neighborhood. This board has seen applications on Cliff Road before. This is the close-up of the posting, which seemed to be in order towards the front of the property. Here's just I'm standing out in the road, looking at the posting, a portion of the dune land in the front. You can see the one-story existing house in the distance and the detached small garage that exists. Next slide. So now I've walked over to the driveway just to get a little bit of how the house presents currently relative to the road. Again, fairly low slung, fairly typical of development around the time that this was built in Beachampton. Next slide. Oh, sorry, this is just a shot looking down Cliff to get a little bit of I think I'm looking west on Cliff just to get a little bit of a sense of the neighborhood. There is a fair amount of dunescape and dune land, some in better condition than others, but it's very duney. Next slide. Okay, so now I've going on to the property. I'm going to go around the property really to have a close look at the condition of the dune land, and there's some topography as well as, just sort of the existing house, and there's some staking on the property that I think relates to the new proposed structure. So again, this is the partial front of the house and the small, I think it's detached garage. Next slide. And I'm just moving east. So that's the rest of the front facade of the house. The camera doesn't quite pick up. There is some undulation. That's even though some of the stuff is not native on it, you still very much get a sense that this is, meaningful dune land. Next slide. Now I'm basically looking at the east property line of that structure is on the property next door. That is actually a garage that was constructed, not all that, I think within the last decade. And you can see some of the vegetation as you're starting to, I'm going to loop around and start to head towards the back of the property. Next slide. Now, ding, 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 I'm on the east side of the property. The TAM, discusses that there are both invasives, natives, and, a mix condition on the dune land. So the house is just off the screen to the right. The neighbor to the east is to the left, and I'm looking towards the back of the property. Next slide. This is, I stepped back, my back is right at the property line on the east, and this is the facade of that side of the house. Next slide. Okay, so now I've gone onto the back of the property. I thought this is sort of an interesting shot. As you go towards the rear property line, the dune land does really start to swoop up. So I'm at the rear property line, and just this is kind of how you look down into what is this portion of dune land. You can see the rear of the house. There was a back deck. Next slide. Now, interestingly, as you move back on the rear side of the house closer to the left, yes, that dune land was more disturbed. I guess there was lawn there at some point. Now the grass is sort of, broken up a bit, but it does get green over there. And now I'm looking to the west property. The house next door was sold recently. It's undergoing a big renovation, and I believe there was an addition to that house right next to the, on the property line, on that property line. So just wanted to get you, that house is actually sitting up on top of what was a dune structure. Aside from the fact it's 2-story, that's part of why it looks so high relative to the house we're talking about. Next slide. Okay, just a fuller look again of the rear of the house as it exists, and the sort of split between the grassy part and the more of the sandy dune land. Next slide. You can see, so I've gone closer to that blue Tyveki thing, and I'm looking east, and you can see 2 stakes there that I imagine relate to something that's being proposed. I actually think they might have red pool or something like that. I'm not sure, I can't remember. But anyway, I think I have one more slide. Next slide. And now I'm just going back towards the front of the property on the side of the house. I'm on the rear of the garage. Next slide. And then as I got back, I'm back in the driveway. Again, just another shot of that front area of dune land. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have the agent here? Announce yourself and your address.
My name is Mark Backrow. I'm the agent for Scott Auker.
And your address.
My home address, 5 Emerson Lane, Shelter Island.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I'm not sure exactly how to present everything. We do have some survey of the existing, the proposed. So the goal for the project was to create a structure that minimized the expansion of the footprint and tried to keep the scale of the neighborhood, as far as, we are up to the GFA allowable, but as you'll notice in the plans, it's not super large spaces, it's kind of compact, and we really wanted to just preserve the overall footprint of the home. Tyler, what else do we have? The floor, are we going through the floor plans? Okay. So there's 4 bedrooms total on the project. And there's a small pool as well. There's a second floor with 4 bedrooms above. So that's 5 bedrooms actually. Yeah, proposed house is 5 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms, sorry. This is the north elevation is what's facing the road. the south elevation is what, if you're up on the land, the dunescape is, or that's actually the east elevation, sorry, the top one. So that would be the one facing the house on the east property line. There's the west and the south. So south is what's facing the back dune area. So yeah, so the floor.
ZBA, please pause your meeting.
Okay.
And in 3, 2, 1, please resume.
Give it time for our sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, it's a typical, tried to do like a modern design, but not too over the top. Tried to keep the scale of the neighborhood. The street front, we feel, has exhibits of the existing with the kind of the small garage and the front facade. We took the slope of the upper roof from the existing house that's there. With if you notice from the back, you saw the large southern pitch that comes down towards the street. So we took some nods of the existing architecture and then tried to enhance that to a family that's growing. Their kids are getting bigger. Their families now, their kids now have kids, so they want a place that's reliable space in Montauk or in Amagansett to come out for the summers and as any typical family out here. And I think this gives them all the features they needed, and it doesn't overwhelm the neighborhood. There is a pool section, I think, which is interesting. We tried, go up one. With the pool, because I know these can be issues that could come up. It's a shallow pool, it's 6 feet deep. We could go a little shallower, but we're well above the water elevation and also trying to minimize all the excavation on that backside. We want to maintain that dune in the back as much as possible. We are proposing to re-veg quite a lot more than what is actually existing, taking back that lawn space that's in the back that was planted before I believe before they bought the house. So we think that's a good, there's a bug on here. That kind of gives back to the dune area. I did this on another project up the road, 87 Cliff Road, and the landscape now looks really beautiful, doing the same revegetation process that we did there, proposing that here. Yeah, then if you go to the renderings, you can see it would be the front driveway area. And that's the front elevation with the garage, the small garage, and a front porch there. And then going to the other elevations, there's the back. We've redesigned the pool a little bit. We feel that the design that you'll see in the plan actually is a little more, caters to the dune a little bit better, following that line. And then, yeah. Are there any questions, or do you guys have any comments and concerns?
Well, the pool on your rendering looked like it was rectangular, but on the
Yes.
survey it angles. So it's the angled one you're doing.
It's the one that we're doing has a slight curve, and yeah, more of an angle. And it's, if you go to the site plan, in that PDF, go up, down. Right there. Sorry, up one. Right there. Doesn't want to answer the question.
You can do it, Tyler.
So if I can walk over here real quick. The topography does kind of come up as you noted from your site visit. So we were trying to go along that edge by cutting the pool back a little bit. And it also gives us a little deck above. So we're open to ideas if that is an issue for that pool shape.
I noticed on your pool diagram, you do have a grade elevation of 12, meaning at the pool, which is consistent with the topography on the survey. So I get that. It's important to keep those contours intact.
Yeah.
The re-veg plan, is there going to be less clearing than what is existing?
So existing.
Because you have a re-veg, I'm trying to match up your re-veg plan to the survey. So your survey isn't showing that there's going to be any increase in vegetation. So I want to try to match this up because we have to be able to rely on a proposed survey as for the record.
I thought we did have the revegetation.
No.
So this is
Your proposed is equal to the existing right now on the survey.
Yeah.
So what's your intention of the revegetation plan?
That was my question too.
Yeah, if we go back to the survey. So if you see this clearing edge, I think it was a recommendation by when I submitted the application that we propose re-vegging these areas that are.
Right, so right now, that clearing edge matches up to what's shown on the survey on your re-veg plan, but you're showing more vegetation,
Right.
and it's not brought into the survey. I think it's going to be important for us to see that on a survey.
I can get that from the surveyor. I think that's what the staking was done for. This was a while back, so I'm trying to refresh a little bit. Let me see if I have.
That's exactly.
I thought I had that updated.
Like how much re-veg and where?
Yeah, I know.
Would you be able to follow up and tell us how much revegetation you're planning on and where, based on the survey we
Right,
have
that's
in
a
front
good
of
point
us?
too. Oh, no, so, no, this
Yeah,
is
so
this is
the
the pool right
proposed is
there.
going to be-
So that's the pool right there.
The proposed clearing will be 6,118.
Re-veg.
That would include giving back all of this
That should be in color.
in revegetation.
So then what is everything else is cleared inside of that? So,
Everything else is cleared inside of this. This is all considered cleared.
Right, that matches up with what's existing.
Exactly. So that's this hash mark is what would be revegetated.
but, I mean,
Right, so what we're struggling with, we don't have a proposed area of clearing.
Exactly.
And I think,
That's what, this is his re-veg. This is the existing clear line is here. He's proposing to do this re-veg through that. So this would be the clearing line. It's just not shown.
Yeah, it's not.
right, it needs to be shown on the
Yeah,
survey.
it's shown on that. It's shown on that. I mean, it should be on the survey, but we can work with this for now, I think.
All right, but how do we don't know the area, so if we approve something, how do we know what's being approved or not?
Yeah,
How much that is?
allowable 9,000.
Oh, you have that on there? Wait a minute.
Existing is 8938, and then the proposed clearing after the structures are built and revegetated, we get 6,100.
wait, where,
Survey, yeah.
yeah, it has to be on
I see
the
that
survey.
now. Okay, all right, I get it.
Yeah, I thought I had.
Oh, so that's substantial.
But because
Yeah.
so right now, let's forget about that straggly grass in the back for a second. You're gonna rehabilitate that, right? So the whole property is sandy, right? So was at some point like you can look at the aerials too, dune land. So the part that remains cleared, it's gonna remain sandy, but I think maybe there's a concept that there should be restoration
Yeah.
of that dune land, really all around that house, to kind of bring it back to what is a protected natural resource in this town that, has standards to it. So I'm still trying to square that now with this number that you just gave and, this, whatever this area is inside the cleared area. And then also, I don't know if you're going to do grading in the front, or are you going to try and protect that, what sort of undulation there is in
Yeah,
front?
we're trying to keep the driveway level that you saw, and the house finished floor is similar to what is existing there. It's actually a little higher, but that whole area would be the same, basically.
Right, so it should look like, as opposed to
Yeah.
just sort of everything flattened with some beach grass in it, right? It's going to look.
We did it at 87 Cliff Road. I used this similar, the ground cover and the shrubs and the beach grasses. And they actually, I think there was we had to take some of the fill out, but there was like a inspection process with the town to make sure we through planning that we had, redid everything exactly, to your requirements,
Right.
to the planning requirements. So I'm familiar with that process. So I would go through that same process. Sorry if I'm not explaining it right. I wasn't super prepared for this.
Well,
But yeah, as you see, it's the ground cover would be the dewberry, and bare beach sand. And that would be basically the whole site. There's no lawn proposed or anything like that.
Yeah, we can hear from Tyler on that too.
Can I ask the applicant, before we go to Tyler, may I ask the applicant's agent one more question? So, as part of your narrative, you obviously talked about they have family needs and they want to meet those needs with more sizable house. But you also said, this scale is in keeping with the surroundings. So I understand what you're saying. However, you're at the ultimate maximum allowed on a property that wouldn't have natural resource features on it. And the coverages, the building coverage is going up, the total coverage is rising. There's a pool going in. So, some of our standards, we have to look at impact of character on the neighborhood. Hopefully you've read the variance standards and the natural resources standards. So can you just comment on that?
I think a good slide would be one up from this.
Mm-hmm.
So this shows basically the existing footprint. So this is the existing deck that you had noticed in the back.
Mm-hmm.
This is the house that's there, and this is that tree that's existing there. Pool and deck area is only taking up this much more space. I don't have like a percentages, but we basically kind of flipped and turned the house shape
We're coming back, right?
into the street a little more and tried to minimize our expansion, like I mentioned before. And I thought that was, the best course of action for, this property and in keeping with the Dune area.
Okay. Any other?
How many bedrooms? The planning department.
Up.